You're standing at the window of a room that isn't yours to keep. A rented office, a borrowed desk, someone else's plant dying quietly on the shelf. And on the screen in front of you is an email you drafted an hour ago and still haven't sent. Someone asked you, directly, for once, what you actually want, not what you can live with. Not what would be convenient for everyone else. What you want. And there it is, the sentence that came out of your fingers automatically. The one you've used for years like a shield you don't even remember picking up. I don't need much. You read it again. It sounds humble. It sounds like grace. Like you're easy to please. Like you've made peace with taking less than you're worth. But tonight, for some reason, it doesn't sit right. Tonight it looks less like grace and more like a hiding place you built so carefully that even you stopped seeing the walls. Because here's the thing nobody says out loud. Staying small was never keeping the peace. It was rationing your own worth in public, one polite refusal at a time, and calling the rationing a virtue. Every time you asked for less than you needed, in a negotiation, a favor, a relationship, you told yourself it was grace. But afterward there was always that strange resentment you couldn't quite explain, sitting under your ribs like something unfinished. Think about the last time someone complimented your work. Really think about it. Did you let it land? Or did you start shrinking it before they even finished the sentence? Oh, it was nothing. I just got lucky. Anyone could have done it. You've done this so many times it feels like manners. It isn't manners. It's a reflex built from fear. And the cost of that reflex isn't small. It's the raise you didn't ask for. The love you didn't name. The sentence you rehearsed in the shower. The one that finally claimed the credit, the space, the recognition. And then, right at the last second, you swapped it for something softer. Every single time. That's not modesty. That's a transaction you keep making with yourself. Stay unseen. Stay safe. Tonight, that transaction ends. Not by force, but by naming it out loud where you can no longer call it humility. So here's what you do. Take that one sentence you've been shrinking for years, the real one, the true size one, and write it exactly as it should sound at full volume. Then read it aloud, once, before you sleep. Just once. Let your own voice hear it without editing it down. Because on the 25th of August, 2026, Mercury moves through 0 degrees and 27 minutes of this sign, 1 single degree past Regulus, the star they used to call the Heart of Kings. It's the exact threshold where the need to be witnessed hands the microphone to the need to be useful. For a few hours, both impulses speak with the same voice. You're allowed to matter, and you're allowed to say so precisely. That's the day a message gets sent instead of edited into nothing. A number gets said instead of rounded down. A credit gets claimed instead of deflected into the room. So ask yourself, standing at your own window tonight, what have you been calling modesty that was actually just fear wearing a nicer name? What silence have you mistaken for peace? Virgo, Gemini, Pisces. Virgo, you have been quietly training everyone around you to expect less than what you actually give, and you didn't even notice the lesson taking hold. Every time you handed someone your work and called it nothing much, they believed you. Every time you corrected a compliment down to something smaller, they adjusted their sense of you accordingly. That's the cost. Years of people carrying an inaccurate, shrunken picture of what you're capable of because you kept handing them the miniature instead of the real thing. Here's the strange part. You think this is modesty. You think the quiet erasure is the same as competence, that if you just do the work carefully enough, someone will eventually notice without you ever having to say a word out loud. But nobody's counting revisions at midnight except you. Picture yourself finishing a project at midnight, the 12th revision nobody asked for, and you're already rehearsing how you'll describe it tomorrow, smaller than it actually was, softened, apologized for before anyone's even seen it. You list your flaws before anyone else gets the chance to. You call your best effort nothing much in the very breath you hand it over. So what happens when the rounding down finally stops? On August 25th, Mercury lands exactly at 0 degrees of your own sign, 1 degree from the star Regulus, sitting quietly in the part of the chart that governs what happens behind closed doors. It isn't asking you to perform, to announce yourself, to suddenly become loud. It's asking something smaller and harder. Stop editing yourself down before anyone else has even read the sentence. What would it cost you to just leave the true size of the thing standing there, unshrunk, for one moment? Try this tonight. Say the true difficulty of what you did, once, without immediately shrinking it in the same breath, not louder than it was, just accurate. Watch what happens. Someone finally sees the actual size of what you've been carrying, not the diminished version you've been quietly handing them for years. That's the shift. Not applause, not attention, just one accurate sentence standing on its own, unedited. Quiet was never the same thing as small. You are rarely at a loss for words. Ask anyone who knows you. You can talk your way into a room, out of a tense dinner, around an awkward silence, through 3 tangents and 2 jokes, and somehow land exactly where you started. It's a genuine gift. It's also, if you're honest with yourself for a second, exactly how you've stayed hidden for years, in plain sight, mid-sentence, while everyone assumes they know you because you never stop talking. Picture the scene, because you've lived it more than once. You're sitting across from someone who actually matters to you. The conversation is easy, funny, moving fast, the way your conversations do. And underneath all of it, there's one true thing you came to say. You can feel it sitting there, waiting. And instead you make another joke. You go off on another tangent. You watch the moment get closer, and then you watch it close, quietly, without you ever saying the thing. On August 25th, Mercury, the planet that speaks for you specifically, meets Regulus directly in the 3rd house of your solar chart, the house of daily talk, the actual words you reach for without thinking. This isn't background noise for you. This is your own voice being handed a microphone it usually turns down. Before we talk about fixing anything, ask yourself something honest. What is all that talking actually protecting? What happens if you stop mid-joke and just say the plain sentence instead? Something in you already knows, and that's worth sitting with before you rush to change it. Because here's what the habit costs you, quietly, underneath the charm. You explain your own feelings like they belong to someone else, like a theory you read once. Instead of a confession, you're actually living. You talk fast enough that no one around you notices what you skipped, including you. And so you stay fluent about absolutely everything, except the one thing that would actually change your life if you said it plainly, out loud, to the person standing in front of you. So, here's the action. This week, in your next real conversation, when you feel that one true sentence rising, don't reach for the joke that usually rescues you from it. Say the sentence instead. Just that one. Let it be plain. Let it be a little unpolished. Watch what happens. The conversation goes somewhere it has never gone before, because for once you didn't talk your way around the center of it. You've never run out of words. You've only ever run out of the one sentence that actually costs you something. This week, spend it. You are so good at holding other people's days. Someone calls, and their voice is tired, and before they've even finished the first sentence, you're already softening the room for them. Already nodding even though they can't see you nod. Already deciding that whatever you were carrying tonight can wait. It always waits. That's the quiet arrangement you've made, without ever saying it out loud. Their exhaustion gets airtime, yours gets postponed, maybe mentioned later if there's room left over, and there's rarely room left over. Here's the scene you probably already know by heart. You're listening, you're comforting, you're saying all the right things, and somewhere underneath it you're thinking, not tonight, I won't bring it up tonight. And you believe, quietly, that if you did say something, the line would go a little cold, the sympathy would thin out, and you'd hear it in their voice, that flicker of disappointment, of, oh, I thought you were the steady one,